And also because the game evolves over time.
Yes.
So
Patches.
I think almost everyone would say that it's number 2.
All right. So also branching from that, do you have any stories behind, or stories or opinions about how arcades never had training modes, and we still were able to be good at the games?
Well, I mean, people put a lot of time in, right? Over years and years. So people get good really quickly nowadays because there's a lot of tools to practice.
Yep.
But I mean,
It's called the internet.
Well, it's training mode as well.
Oh yeah, and training mode. That's what we're talking about.
Arcade games have evolved since then and have included training mode. So I know in like Japanese arcades with Guilty Gear, you can pay to play training mode for a timed amount.
Oh, and Tekken 2. Tekken had that. Tekken 7 have Fated Retribution.
So I feel like the idea that having that tool available is worth money, I think everyone agrees on that.
Yep.
Or else they wouldn't have implemented it, right?
I mean, is it a necessity? I don't think so.
It's up to the. All right, so a tool does nothing by itself, right?
Yeah.
It's up to the.
It's got to serve a
user.
purpose.
Yeah, it's up to the user. You can use a hammer to do a lot of different things, but I mean, it has a primary purpose. It's up to whoever uses the tool to feel like you've got your worth out of it.
And also, I guess it's on the hands of a good, decent player. It's more meaningful than the other, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, and that speaks to the like proficiency of the wielder kind of thing. Like you have, you know, a beginner like electrician versus a master electrician. They could use a pair of pliers very easily.
It'll be a funny way to describe it, but if you're good at training mode, can you be a good training mode player?
Well, I mean, I feel like you can be a good training mode player because if you can use every feature to its fullest extent, you'll be learning and putting yourself in very different situations, repeatable situations in which you can train yourself in.
Yes.
And should that situation occur in a real match, then you're prepared.
Yep. Definitely. Because I guess there are definitely scenarios where it just cannot be done by one person. Like the secondary person has to be on standby for certain scenarios. It cannot be fully 100% prepare you for a competitive match. That's why we have sessions like this.
I mean, look at how training mode has evolved over the years. Street Fighter 4 didn't have like a true wake up option. Like, you know how Street Fighter 5
it never had delay wake up on their option.
Yeah. Because it was added like way too
too late,
life cycle. But yeah, Street Fighter 5 has some pretty neat options in its training mode where you can tell it to do one of 5 options on wake up, right?
Yeah, you can record it and stuff. Yeah. That's pretty cool.
Instead of just like, I remember practicing safe jumps, it was just like record mashing DP.
Yeah.
And then just like knock him down and try and jump at him. Like,
that was our ghetto way of doing it.
Yeah.
But now you can do that on guard.
Yeah.
And as well as recovery. So yeah, it's become way more accessible.
The way that people have used the tools have evolved how the tools are created, which is interesting.
It's pretty. I mean, and also that's what's fascinating about human interactivity when it comes to like tools, digital tools for a certain purpose, not just fighting games, but in general, I guess. Welcome, guys. This is episode 3 of We Have a Show. Damn, we're progressing really fast. We have a show. All right. So, what are some good / bad features? We just talked about this.
Good or bad features?
Good or bad features that were in specific fighting game tutorials and training modes in your experience.
Good or bad features?
What did you like about a certain thing?
I'm a real bad person to ask about this because I don't really practice or do anything.
You're not really a good training mode player? This guy's a training mode player.
He's a big training mode player.
Yeah.
Pointing at Somniac over there.
The camera pointing at Somniac. Look at that guy.
There he is. #1 training moder.
Training moder. He will train up for matchups for characters that Melbourne players don't play and stuff. So, like, impressive. Some people think. I mean,
well, we just got through talking about the wake up option feature in Street Fighter 5 and like having reversals work a different way in training mode, which is cool. I think that's a really great feature. But then they proceeded to remove reversals from the game. So, no, I'm kidding.
Wake up and die.
I mean, what about like hardware features? The new like TE2s have the touchpad on it, which you can reset.
The reset?
In
That is so
Guilty Gear,
convenient.
if you touch it on the left side, you end in the left corner.
Oh,
If you
next
touch it on the
level.
right side, you start in the right corner. If you touch it in the center, you start in the center.
In
It's
Marvel,
so good.
see, Marvel 3 had that too, but
Yeah?
Marvel 3 had a
You had to
built-in
hold
system.
left and right and push
And then
select,
start and select, yeah.
See, it's exactly like that, but they put a touchpad.
That's so convenient.
Yeah.
I mean, that's so smart as well.
It's
In
those
Street Fighter
small
5, you gotta like choose.
Oh, yo.
But I mean, it's just good to have that. I mean,
Yeah, those efficiency features make training a lot quicker, right?
Definitely.
So you don't have to pop a menu, you don't have to do anything like that. You just do the input and it goes.
so when it comes to like training for a game, online content such as YouTube videos and tournament archives versus having a training partner. What do you think is more effective if you had to choose one or the other?
I feel like
I'll wait. Go.
you go.
Like without reasoning, just when the question is asked, I like having a training partner.
I think in the long run, if I had to pick one, right?
Yeah.
And I think this question's a bad question, but if I had to pick one, I'm
that's
gonna
why
go
we
with a training partner because it's got longevity behind it.
Definitely. Oh, okay. I mean, that is why our show is called We Have a Show, because questions aren't necessarily good or bad. It's just there.
Yeah,
And
so
I think
you've asked a tough question where maybe there's not a good answer, but
But it's something that I want to see people fight about. If they had a stronger opinion saying, is training
so let
partner
me
better?
rephrase your question in a really strange way.
Sure.
Would you prefer that we went back 15 years and there was just isolated arcades where there's only people and word of mouth? Or would you rather stay here where there's really great internet and you have information that's freely available? Because that's what you're
I love
asking,
that
right?
question.
Where you're asking if you would rather a single training partner, which has limited information, versus an online set of information with no one to practice against.
Yeah, so
where
there's
you
no
have-
real practical
Yeah.
practice behind it. It's just image training.
Yeah, I feel like getting better is a collation of information.
Of course.
So you're practicing and you're learning things and you're applying them, and you're turning data into information.
But I like your question because if you say that, like if you had to go back in that day, we had no internet. So the latter option is inevitable, like it's obsolete.
Yeah. Well, obviously time travel is not in the question.
But yeah, I mean, in that sense, me personally, I will go back in time and play in arcades where it's full of cigarette smell and all that stuff.
But a lot of those people weren't interested in getting better. They were just playing for fun. You want to get better, don't you?
If that's the case,
You remember playing
You're
at Fox Hill?
in- you're in
You
a
remember
really
like
bad-
Banker and stuff? They weren't playing a lot of those players weren't playing to get better. They were just playing because it's fun.
that triggers me. Because no, but at the same time, it's alright because that's a personal opinion. But and also, no one actually put a guideline on fences saying
This is what you have to do to play this game. Or this is what you must be doing to be able to continue playing this game.
See, I wouldn't know the comments of actual like competitive players, right? To comment on or judge on this is, do you get upset if you're in a venue of gamers who play the same game as you for the same interest, and there are people that are not as competitive as you are? Do they get upset?
I know I do. So if I'm playing in a group of people and I'm taking it very seriously,
Yep.
and this probably speaks to my own like personality and temperament.
Right.
If I'm trying to improve at something and there's someone else just like having a go, laughing, they're just like passing the time and they're playing with friends, and I'm trying to get better and we're not progressing because some people are not taking it seriously, I will get upset because I'm wasting my time.
That's a valid point, because there are definitely a lot of people. There are a mix of people who play the game to become better, and people who play the game to kill time.
It's a competitive mindset.
Yeah, but if you put those parties of people in the same venue, that's actually a really interesting social experiment.
Well, you did. That's what like a large arcade situation is, or like Evo in a sense, because Evo has grown from just more than just competitive people.
Yeah.
There's a lot of like pot monsters, right? That
They just come for the experience.
Yeah. So
They have
you've got
fun.
people that are just there to have fun, and you've got some serious like this is my job kind of people, right? So that is your social experiment.
It's like, and also, I mean,
And those people can coexist.
yeah, and rightfully so. People will come to those events as that's how they enjoy their weekends.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because like some people will choose to go to movies or go to restaurants. These people chose to come to Evo and play video games.
Yeah, or even CCH, you know?
Yeah, just like where we are. Yes.
So yeah, I think they can coexist. But which one would you choose?
Me personally, I like the competitive aspect more. But then, do I get upset if there's other players that are not?
All right, let's expand on the question from one training partner versus just internet and archives, YouTube and archives. What happens if I could get 5 training partners or internet and archives? We'll expand one side. Do you think 5 would be better?
Yes.
I think so too. I think I would rather play in a isolated 5 stack, 5 stack of people just rotating and playing, than I would alone watching YouTube and just like absorbing tech and just trying to imitate it.
Cool.
Because the information, even though there's a vast amount, it is not a complete set. And the quickest way to absorb a lot of this information is to play.
Yep. Oh, yes.
Especially in Street
Hands
Fighter
on.
5, where experience is king. There's very little execution barrier.
Which is how the game is designed. Yes.
That's totally fine.
Yep.
It might not be to your taste, but that's how it is.
It's all preferences. But if you understand why the game is designed this way, then you will understand better.
So experience is king. So you've got to grind. And if you don't grind, you're effectively missing out.
Since it's
That's
only
something I've learned very recently, even though it seems very obvious.
Right.
And so now I'm playing the catch-up game, and it's really hard because I'm losing to things that people are like, haha, everyone's been through that kind of thing, you know?
So, I mean, originally, like I said before, I would like this show called We Have a Show with a lot of panelists. Then we would have different opinions, or even maybe just one-sided opinions. But what would be some realistic answers for those who actually chose online content over the practice? What would be, like, why would they choose that option? For what realistic barriers they have?
Well, I mean, if you have 5, if you look at it in a way with
If you don't have 5 friends.
why would you choose that over 5 people? No.
No, I'm kidding.
They don't even have to be friends. It's training partners.
Right. Okay. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry if I hurt your feelings. But yeah, go on.
You would choose the internet option because that information is always evolving and changing. So it's always going to be on the leading edge of information, which is what we said in the last episode.
Oh, yes. We had a last episode.
Where you need to be on the cutting edge of information.
Where knowledge is
to be
everything.
competitive.
Yep.
Yeah, to be competitive. But it might be harder for you to put that into practice because you're alone.
Right.
So it's theory versus application in that sense.
Sorry, I'm going too deep on this.
That's fine.
Can a theory really versus against an application, though? Are they two, like...
You know what they
even
say?
ground topics?
Have you heard of the saying, those who can't teach?
Those who can't teach?
Those who can't, teach.
Oh, shit. I just had a light bulb moment.
Yeah?
That is really sharp. I'm going to write that down. Those who cannot teach.
So it means that those who can't do what they want to do usually go into teaching to teach that topic. It's used in a lot of fields in the real world. But I mean, in a sense, for competitive games, it would translate into those who can't coach.
You know who would like...
Because they're too old for the game now and they coach now, or they have injuries so they can't play so they coach. It's their way of contributing to the sport. And it's not a dig at anyone. I think everyone is equal.
It's a good way of...
That's what you're asking, practically.
Yeah. That's my question. Like, does theory or theory crafting would ever
There's
be
a place for it.
a worthy opponent that goes over the definition of an application?
There is a place for theory crafting and strategy and strategists and coaching, but at the end of the day,
it's like
we're playing a sport which is a player versus a player, not a player versus a coach.
Right. like on a like in the concept of they're both equally
so
skilled.
even though in theory this can be punished, if you can't do it, then it doesn't matter.
Right.
You know, you gotta do it. Like, it's not about what it is; it's about how, like, you have to get it done.
I guess it's also the community's responsibilities to share those information. If you are so upset about your opponent not being able to punish the repetitive things that you've done, why not just teach them?
Yeah.
Like, why do people not understand?
Yeah, just be like, yo, this is not punishable. Stop trying to do stand jab tatsu.
Stop trying to be creative.
Yeah.
But I mean, you wouldn't say it that way. You would just tell them, like, I would do like an amazing setup that no one has seen, and that this is like me. I do something, and then I'll be like, that's like +2. Like, yeah.
But there's
straight up.
There's a time and a place for that sort of information.
Like, you wouldn't say that in a tournament match.
You would not stop the match.
You won the first game. You're like, yo, dude, I did this.
You need
like,
to stop doing that
sharp thing on you. That is +55. Or fuck, that's ridiculous. What I'm saying. But you say that on the first round, then second round he'll bop you because now he knows. You don't say that in a tournament. Yeah. So yeah, I like that. I like that.
Power, dude.
Oh, he's dead. Oh, almost dead. Now you can SPD. No, you went for the safer option instead. Now he's... Wow, he could have... Larry
into the blender. So that's the end of episode 3.
Yeah, thank you for watching, guys. That was episode 3 regarding theory and application.
It was supposed to be training mode versus...
online versus practical. Well, it's the same concept. Online versus practicality, theory versus application. So yeah, thank you for watching episode 3.
We're going to take a break.
We'll take a short break and we'll come back with 5 more episodes.
5? We only done 3.
Anyways, all right. Enjoy the casual.